Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of NXT. And live tonight, we have plenty of big-time matches, including CM Punk, your NXT champion, taking on Bryan Danielson. That's going to be one hell of a technical wrestling matchup there. As well as Jon Moxley takes on MJF. As well as Bron Breakker takes on Wes Lee, live here tonight in Seattle, Washington. And here comes the opening matchup of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes, as they are coming down to William Regal's music. He is the general manager now of SmackDown, former manager of this group. But here comes Jon Moxley and Wardlow. You see Bryan Danielson. Yes, he is not coming out right now. He's getting ready for his big-time main event matchup later on tonight as he takes on CM Punk. So he's going to have Wardlow accompanying him down to the ring. I still love that they're actually using William Regal's entrance and everything like that due to, him going to SmackDown and everything. Very curious to see how it's going to go, though. Coming up in just a couple weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a big-time matchup between Jon Moxley and the North American champion, Christian. And, that very well could be the show stealer of the whole night. Because, you got MJF and CM Punk for the NXT Championship. You got the Creed Brothers against the Grizzled Young Veterans for the NXT Tag Team Championships. As well as you got Mandy Rose challenging Emma for the NXT Women's Championship. You got Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons challenging for the NXT Women's Championships. Taking on the Iconics for those lovely Tag Team Championships. And plenty more still to come our way, as well as Tyler Bate and Bron Breakker for that United Kingdom Championship. It's only going to get very, very brutal from now all the way to just a couple weeks' time. We are officially 3 weeks away. And here comes MJF with Brian Cage, part of the Pinnacle with Chris Jericho and the Big Show. But honestly, I don't honestly think that the Pinnacle really, I should say MJF and Brian Cage don't necessarily need the Big Show and Chris Jericho, but the bigger, the better. Why not, I guess. Very curious to see how this is going to be playing out tonight live here on NXT. NXT pay-per-view is just a couple weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of stuff is going to be changing from now all the way to NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, especially afterwards, because we got a bright future coming for NXT. NXT Vengeance Day will be the last time we see it here in WWE 2K22. Have to enjoy it while we can. I cannot wait to see until we get to NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. There's a lot of hard-hitting feuds, and if I had one that I'm really looking forward to the most, would definitely be CM Punk and MJF. Personally, for me, definitely maybe Christian and Jon Moxley second, but here we go. MJF takes on Jon Moxley one-on-one here tonight. And now MJF early on tagging that left arm. Why not? We know MJF does have an armbar submission hold, so he would definitely not be afraid to whip that bad boy out for sure. As again, just going with not really an anaconda vice of sorts, but almost a different type of headlock. And look at MJF. He's telling Jon Moxley to get up to his feet. We know how cocky MJF is, ladies and gentlemen, but do you think it's too early in his career that he'll be able to knock off a man so good as CM Punk? CM Punk has been pretty much unbeatable for the most part here in NXT ever since becoming NXT champion, and even beforehand. CM Punk's actually defeated Jon Moxley recently here in NXT, so I don't know if it's going to favor MJF anytime soon. As now Moxley looking to go to work here. Oh, nice snap suplex right there on the neck area. And look at Wardlow right there kind of saying, now you definitely deserve that. Uh-oh. Moxley. Gonna go for a submission hold here. Oh, a little bit of a cross-face type of maneuver. Almost like an STF of sorts. And it looks like Moxley's feet are not underneath the rope, so you can't call a rope break or him trying to use the advantage to himself here. The question is how much damage is done to MJF as he's landing those big haymakers there. And gonna go for a oh. What a nice pile driver there tombstone pile driver type of thing there from MJF. And now Moxley with a ground and pound game. Moxley is not afraid to get his hands dirty, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you gotta like about it, about Jon Moxley. He's gonna put his head down and just go to work. As now MJF with another underhook powerbomb. This time gonna go for the pinfall. Will this be enough? Two. Ooh. Very, very close. As now MJF, high risk, high reward situation. Will it be worth it? Amber. Oh. Flying punch to the face of Jon Moxley. Moxley kind of dazed, confused, does not know where he's at. MJF continuing to look really good here in Universe mode. He could be the youngest world champion we've ever seen here in NXT, and that's definitely saying something. Look at him at MJF just eating this up right now. Talking all the trash to not just Moxley, but everyone tonight here live in Seattle, Washington. And everyone back home as well. There's a neck breaker there from Moxley, making MJF pay for his sins there. Uh-oh. Jon Moxley has him up. Uh-oh. Pile driver. Oh, my goodness. Spiking him on his head. Big win possibly for Jon Moxley. 2. Oh, my goodness. How in the heck did he just kick out? So close. But now Jon Moxley has to dig down deep and try to figure out what he needs to do. And then hits him with a pendulum shift. Will that be enough? 2. No! MJF kicking out again. How is he surviving? And now this is where Moxley, the veteran in this matchup, cannot get too frustrated, because that will definitely favor MJF in this matchup. As now Moxley able to quickly grab MJF before he was going to be able to maybe try to get anything going. As Brian Cage introducing a steel chair. Referee may have not seen that. And I don't know if MJF has noticed it just yet. As nice arm bar taken down. And MJF again just mocking this crowd. That's MJF for you, and especially if he becomes the NXT champion, the NXT World Champion, this brand's going to get even worse. If you think CM Punk is bad, MJF is going to be even worse. As Moxley telling MJF who's number 1 there with those lovely fingers right in the face. Moxley in trouble here. MJF now. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh my goodness. This arm bar type of maneuver right now that we're seeing from MJF, this is absolutely brutal. Just dissecting. And now, we've seen this before. Oh my goodness, the hammerlock DDT spiking Jon Moxley, but Moxley getting that rope break. And now, MJF looking at a high risk. Elbow, no, he misses. And now Ambrose, or I should say Jon Moxley, sorry. Very hard not to call him Dean Ambrose. But now Moxley in trouble. Not the best view there, the referee's behind. Both of these men, you could notice that they've hit their biggest maneuvers and it still hasn't been enough to put them away. That's just how you could definitely say how good both men are. As referee being distracted right behind him, we couldn't see. There is a low blow. MJF looking to steal the matchup. 2, 3. Referee was distracted once again. It always seems like the referee gets distracted. And MJF picks up the win due to a low blow. And MJF's stock here in NXT continues to grow more and more at the end of the day. Big time matchups we're witnessing tonight. And that is just one hell of a match we just witnessed. Look at right there, referee just inadvertently looking somewhere else besides those two men wrestling. And MJF picks up a big win here live on NXT. Will he become world champion in the coming weeks? We'll have to wait and find out. Welcome back now, and now we're going to see a one-on-one contest between the tag teams that are going to be going at it in just a couple weeks' time. As tonight, it's going to be Zach Gibson taking on one of the members of the Creed brothers here tonight. As here just in a couple weeks' time, the tag team championships will be on the line between the Grizzled Young Veterans and the Creed brothers. And the Creed brothers have had the number of the Grizzled Young Veterans, and they got their opportunity, but they're going to have to be able to prove it. Grizzled Young Veterans took those NXT championships away from Legado del Fantasma. Legado del Fantasma would get their championship rematch at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. And Grizzled Young Veterans, obviously, as you can tell, are still your NXT Tag Team Champions. So tonight, it'll be James Drake taking on Brutus of the Creed Brothers. It's going to be a hard-hitting matchup, a lot of technical wrestling. It's going to be showed here, not just tonight, but in this matchup for sure. And next week, we're actually going to see Julius Creed. He'll be in action against Zach Gibson of the Grizzled Young Veterans. Can't wait to see how that's going to fare up, man. It's going to be a tremendous tag team match. We've already seen it before a couple weeks ago recently when both tag teams faced off with each other, and the Creed brothers kind of put them in put the Grizzled Young Veterans in their place, and after the match kind of attacked them. And that's what the Grizzled Young Veterans are used to doing, attacking their opponents after the matchup. And Creed brothers are like, you know what, we're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to put you in your place, and you're going to make us come down to us. As here we go, referee rings that bell. Here we go. And my question is, for all four of these men, how are they going to be faring in singles action against each other this week and then also next week as they hype up for that big-time tag team championship bout? As, oh my goodness, trying to break the nose there of Mr. Zach Gibson. So it's Zach Gibson this week, ladies and gentlemen, and James Drake next week, pardon me. Uh-oh. From behind Gibson here. Oh, Gibson. Brutal suplex there. So Gibson this week, James Drake next week here. Like I mentioned, sorry about the confusion. As now, look at this big old suplex there from Brutus. And this NXT Tag Team division is going to be very bright. And I can't wait to see what, in the coming weeks and months, especially after NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, how the landscape of NXT is going to be looking, especially with all these championships on the line, these brutal rivalries going on. Who's all going to be, next in line? Who's going to be the up-and-comers still here on NXT? It's a brutal suplex there. Gibson being taken to the ground right now and just being suffocated right now. Oh, there we go. There's James Drake helping out his tag team partner. And look at Brutus talking some major trash back to him. He is not going to back down whatsoever. Oh, brutal DDT there. Gibson able to capitalize, but no, there is a rope break though. Oh, big slap on the chest. Ain't going to be feeling too good as now. Uh-oh. Look at this, just wrenching in right on that arm. Come on, ref. Come on, ref. Gonna break that arm, take it out of socket, and might not even be able to challenge for the tag team championships. Knowing Brutus, he would definitely just try to wrap it up, try to get a shot to the arm type of thing, and try to let that adrenaline get him through that whole matchup and then kind of deal with it afterwards. Getting that championship around the waist, you never know. If you get that one opportunity and you let it fall through your hands, you never know when your next opportunity is going to be. So you got to be able to withstand a lot of injuries, and that's what a lot of superstars do with injuries and kind of see how they cope with it. As Gibson with a brutal DDT, man. Big elbow there. Gibson starting to turn the tide of this matchup. Another pinfall opportunity. Can he pick up a win over Brutus here? No. And now Gibson going to go up top. This ain't good. Oh, going for that knee strike. I think Brutus, inadvertently moved out of the way there. He's going to pay for his sins there with a couple slaps to the chest. Brutus now feeling his own adrenaline going through his body. And now Brutus might be moments away. Oh, I think he's going to try to go maybe for a wrestling takedown of sorts, but didn't work out too much in his favor, but that counter definitely did. Oh, Brutus all fired up. He's trying to get the Seattle crowd behind him right now. Big time matchup. And obviously with what they did to the Grizzled Young Veterans lately, you got to be able to back that up as well. You can't just be a one-hit wonder. As here we go, pinfall, 2. Ooh, 2.5. Very, very close. But Brutus staying in this matchup, though, for how much longer, that was the question. Oh, goodness, the double knees. Oh, my God, look at the blood. Blood dripping down the face. He's eating a knee right to the tailbone area. Oh, brutal maneuvers there from Gibson. And now Zach Gibson with a brutal knee to the chest area there. I don't know how much more Brutus can take now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness, the double knees. Oh, but luckily for Brutus, he had the knee, or his arm or something underneath that rope. But necessarily, I don't think that's a good thing though, as well, because all that damage that Brutus is eating right now. I know he's one of the bruisers of the Creed brothers, but still, man, it's just one of those things where you gotta be very, very careful to don't want to sustain an injury just a couple weeks out. Man, look at that right side of his face. That blood just flowing right through him. He's definitely be feeling it after this matchup. Will it sting more if he loses, or with a win? It might feel a little bit better for him. Brutus telling Gibson to get up to his feet. Gonna wait. And gonna attack that left arm again. Uh-oh. Gonna go for gonna go with that one-arm submission hold here. The Fuji arm bar, but not able to put him away. Uh-oh. Gonna do it one more time. Yes, he is again. A little different version of a disarmer. Just trying to wrench out, trying to rip that rotator cuff. He's still chair being tossed in the ring, surprisingly, by Julius. Uh-oh. Gonna go for the sharpshooter, I think. Yes, he does. Sharpshooter applied. The blood dripping through his face. Oh my goodness, wrenching it in, but there's a rope break. Definitely getting little shades of Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13. Pinfall 2, 3. Big win for Brutus. And the momentum in the corner of the Creed brothers continue. It's only going up from here. Can the Creed brothers knock off the Grizzled Young Veterans and take those NXT Tag Team Championships away from the Grizzled Young Veterans in just 3 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen? Time will tell. But the Creed brothers continue to get better and better, and they are definitely turning into one of the best tag teams here in NXT in recent time. With wins over the Revival, Grizzled Young Veterans. It doesn't matter what team you put in the Creed brothers' way, the Creed brothers have been able to walk away with wins around their waist. And next week, you're going to see Julius Creed takes on James Drake live here on NXT. Will the Creed brothers be able to continue their momentum heading into NXT TakeOver season? Brett, I'm honestly disappointed. You could have had a big-time money matchup. I defeated this up and new shiny toy known as Kenny Omega the Cleaner. I cleaned him right up, shined him real good, and I took him out last week here on NXT. But I should be the one taking out Wes Lee, and I think I'm going to do that. Myself and Christian have been very, very dominant, Brett. And yeah, Christian's the North American champion, and I deserve a championship. I said this a couple weeks ago, and you ruined a perfectly good match that we could have had for NXT TakeOver, like I just mentioned, between myself and Kenny Omega. So, Brett, if you won't do something about it, I certainly will. That Money in the Bank briefcase is supposed to mean something, but you have a man like Wes Lee that hasn't done crap in his whole career? I'm an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. I'm a former United States champion. I've done quite a bit here in WWE. What has Wes Lee done? Brett, I'm going to give you an ultimatum tonight. If you don't make an announcement by the time we get to the very end of the main event, there's going to be some serious hell to pay. And I do mean some serious hell to pay. Because I will come out in the middle of that ring and embarrass anybody that decides to come down that ring, and I will embarrass Wes Lee as well. The following matchup next is going to be Dana Brooke taking on Mandy Rose one-on-one. And for Mandy Rose, she'll be challenging the NXT Women's Champion Emma for that NXT Women's Championship. If you guys remember at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, Emma defeated Mandy Rose to win that championship. And Mandy Rose had to go through a grueling number 1 contenders matchup where Mandy Rose eventually was able to walk out your new number 1 contender, and she does get her rematch coming up at NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. Can Mandy Rose get her Vengeance Day, or get her vengeance, I guess you could say, and get that NXT Women's Championship back around her waist? Can't wait to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a hard-hitting matchup. Emma versus Mandy Rose, that NXT Women's Championship on the line. It's very brutal on the build-up to when Emma won that championship. But now, can Emma retain that championship? Mandy Rose and Emma, that's gonna be a hard-hitting matchup. We saw Emma defeat Dana Brooke recently, so we'll see if Mandy Rose can do the exact same thing and put away Dana Brooke. And from what I understand, Mandy Rose is keeping her toxic attraction in the very back, and she'll be dealing with Dana Brooke all by herself. That's how serious Mandy Rose is all about right now. Keeping that women's championship around her waist, or gonna get that championship around her waist. And one thing you gotta keep in mind is the Miss Money in the Bank Peyton Royce, who won that at the NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver pay-per-view as well. So we could see a cash-in, but I do always like to keep saying that Peyton Royce did say that she would not cash in on Emma as long as Emma was world champion. So if Mandy Rose were to win, if I'm Mandy Rose, you got to be very careful. That cash-in could happen at any time, anywhere. But Mandy Rose has to first off focus on this matchup tonight against Dana Brooke, because this is going to be a good test for her. Dana Brooke and Emma, real good friends. Had a hard-hitting matchup before, but Emma did defeat Dana Brooke. We'll see if Mandy Rose can put Dana Brooke in her place. We know how cocky, confident Mandy Rose is going to be. Hopefully she doesn't overthink this matchup. So here we go. Referee ringing that bell. Here we go. Live here in sold-out NXT Arena for this Dana Brooke Mandy Rose matchup. Mandy Rose is the number 1 contender. Dana Brooke recently arriving here on NXT. And for Dana Brooke to be here gives her more time to develop her skills. We already know that the rosters for Raw and SmackDown's women's divisions are very stacked from top to bottom, but here in NXT, they, like I've mentioned in previous episodes, that it's in a good spot, but definitely room for improvement with these young NXT and NXT UK women's superstars on the brand, and especially coming from the Raw and SmackDown. That's going to make the rosters even better, especially with the likes of Toni Storm joining the women's division as well. Mandy Rose actually had a big win over Toni Storm a couple weeks ago, so despite being on the main roster, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to instantly come down here to NXT and start dominating. It's one of those things that the main roster and the NXT roster are just two different things, and that's not a bad thing. It's a back suplex, and a lot of superstars that start off in NXT, one day definitely they want to reach the Raw and SmackDown roster. But first off, they want to become the world champion, or whatever else may be going on. They're going to have a lot of ups and downs for sure. And Dana Brooke has been around here in WWE for a long, long time, and just kind of still figuring herself out. But it only takes one win to kind of change the trajectory of your career. And maybe tonight is the night for Dana Brooke. Win by win, just start climbing up that ladder. A lot of big-name women's wrestlers on this NXT roster. Like I mentioned just minutes ago, NXT UK and NXT having those rosters combined together with having Ginny and Blair Davenport and Makito Satomura and so many other just beautiful men and women. Not really beautiful, I would say, but more for the women. But Mandy Rose with the pinfall after hitting that big-time maneuver. Mandy Rose now. Oh, the jumping knee strike. That very well may be enough to put her away, but another rope break saves Dana Brooke. But there's plenty of talented NXT and NXT UK women's superstars, especially men, but the women's division is definitely bright for sure. And now Dana Brooke catching her off guard there with that swinging leg. Look at Dana Brooke. She's feeling herself up there right now, but can she capitalize? I didn't think she was going to be able to, just for a split second, because she was taunting Mandy Rose. Crowd trying to get behind Dana Brooke, but not really doing too well just at this moment, though. Still come tonight a massive main event between CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. Those guys have wrestled each other all over the world, and we're going to see it tonight in your main event as Mandy Rose with a big win over Dana Brooke tonight here on NXT. Mandy Rose definitely needed that. And looks like Mandy Rose is going to take the win and walk away. And oh, wait a minute. Second thoughts here. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Mandy Rose, the #1 contender, going to beat down Dana Brooke after the match. Oh, come on, ref. Grab her and stop her. There's no need for this. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's Emma. Emma darting down here and then running kick to the face right there to Mandy Rose. Emma is not going to stay back there and let Mandy Rose continue to that brutal beatdown that we just witnessed to Dana Brooke after the matchup. Just brutal haymakers there from Emma. Not playing around whatsoever. Uh-oh. Emma. Oh, brutal forearm attacks right to the middle of that back. And, oh my goodness, a backbreaker. Just for good measure. Why not? And now, Emma telling Mandy Rose to get up to her feet. What is Emma thinking? Oh, another. Kicked it. But Mandy Rose was able to somehow withstand it. Emma just taking it right there to Mandy Rose. This is what you love. The NXT Women's Champion defending the other women in this division. Emma making a statement live here on NXT. And Emma's not going to be one of those superstars just to lose her championship just like that after a month or so. Big time addition from Emma here tonight. Showing up on the roster and taking it to Mandy Rose. And it looks like she's not done. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, a senton from the top rope. Emma sending a message to Mandy Rose. And now it is time for Wes Lee to take on Bron Breakker. Former NXT champion, former NXT United Kingdom champion is Bron Breakker. I was expecting Bron Breakker to definitely have a longer reign as the United Kingdom champion and definitely as the NXT champion, but you know, there's certain situations that go on that you're just not able to help. Carmelo Hayes defeated Bron Breakker for the NXT championship, but that same night CM Punk would go on to defeat Carmelo Hayes. If you guys missed any of that, make sure you guys go back at NXT TakeOver in your house. Since then, CM Punk has been your NXT champion, but he's definitely going to have a tough task ahead of himself in trying to retain at Vengeance Day as CM Punk takes on MJF for that NXT World Championship. And there's Wes Lee. He is the current Money in the Bank holder here on NXT. And for Wes Lee, he's continuing to get targeted by Rusev. Last week and recently, Rusev saying, hey, I want to take that Money in the Bank briefcase away from him. If I have to earn it, I'll perfectly do it. As now we wait for your next superstar, Bron Breakker, to make his way down to the ring. Bron Breakker made a big statement last week, sending a big message. But now there's Bron Breakker. Breakker very serious about getting that United Kingdom Championship back. And it seems like Bron Breakker, I don't know if you want to really call it a change of attitude, but you know, it seemed like he was kind of laid back previously. Now Bron Breakker looking to get more intense, maybe more serious. Doesn't mean that he can't still be a fan favorite. Maybe definitely a lot of fans didn't really care for how he did it, but Bron Breakker is still a big name here in NXT for sure. As he surrounds Wes Lee little by little. Shark in the water right now. And now this is going to be a hard-hitting matchup for sure. Definitely strength versus speed. They always say speed kills, but if that big body of Bron Breakker gets his hands on Mr. Wes Lee. It could be game over. Wes Lee has gone 0-2 so far since winning that Money in the Bank briefcase. Losses to MJF and also to Chris Jericho. And Rusev seems like he's going to be targeting him. And Rusev even said tonight that he plans on... Well, he said that something bad's going to happen if Bret Hart doesn't come out here by the end of the main event and figure out something. But here we go. Wes Lee takes on Bron Breakker one-on-one. Referee ringing that bell. Here we go. For Wes Lee, a pivotal match, especially just for him in the terms of, yeah, he hasn't had able to strike a win ever since really winning that Money in the Bank briefcase. But, you know, there's plenty of time for Mr. Wes Lee to start collecting wins. And, you know, with him winning that Money in the Bank briefcase, he could go winless for a very long time. But he could cash in that briefcase tonight, the following night, any of the NXT live events, any of the Vengeance Day pay-per-view for NXT. There's just plenty of time for him to do that. So there's plenty of potential there with Wes Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Not your typical NXT Money in the Bank winner. Johnny Gargano was the first ever. Now Wes Lee was the second ever. We'll see if Wes Lee can successfully cash in, or if it'll be another Johnny Gargano situation. Let's look at Bron Breakker just wrenching in right on that collarbone area with a submission hold here. Imagine if Wes Lee has to tap out here, but definitely not able to in that current situation. Bron Breakker not able to make him tap out just at that current time. Off the ropes here, but both men running into each other. Look at Bron Breakker a little bit faster in the situation. Now a German suplex, folding him in half. Ooh, and brutal knee to the appendix area, right there, the kidneys area as well. And this is not what Wes Lee wants. A Bron Breakker, a man pulling out all these physical maneuvers, the ground and pound game. You want Bron Breakker on his back, being able to get decimated. Brutal knee to that forearm area. We'll see if Bron Breakker continue hitting these brutal maneuvers to Wes Lee's. Oh God, Wes Lee busted wide open right now. Breakker going to go high risk. I don't think Breakker needs to necessarily do that. And missing that knee strike, Wes Lee going to look to make him pay. As now. Oh my goodness. You could hear that from the cheap seats. Wes Lee talking some major trash now. Wes Lee going to try and get this match going in his favor. Slowly but surely. As, oh, wait a minute. That's Rusev's music, ladies and gentlemen. Is he going to be making his way down to the ring? Or it might turn into more of mind games as Bron Breakker from behind, clotheslining him. That clothesline might have been enough. It could have been a knockout blow. Is it, though? No. Strong kick out from Wes Lee. And now this is where Bron Breakker has to finish off Wes Lee and kind of capitalize on that distraction. Now Bron Breakker, after that over-the-head suplex, that's definitely going to be hurting. Uh-oh, Bron Breakker now going for the almost like an accolade type of maneuver here to Mr. Wes Lee. Will he have to tap out? Nowhere to go. Middle of that ring. Can Breakker make Wes Lee tap out? He's going to let go of it. Oh, big haymaker though from Wes Lee. Snapmare takedown into the drop kick right to the side of the skull. That's not going to be feeling too good. Wes Lee going to look to finish the matchup. Falcon Arrow. Shooting star press, pardon me, but there is a rope break though. No, big reversal from Bron Breakker though. Can Breakker get himself back in this matchup and put away Wes Lee here? Big haymaker from Bron Breakker. Taking it right to Wes Lee. Off the ropes. Over the head suplex, man. Just shows you how good Bron Breakker is. Obviously with those NXT Championship reigns, is same as the United Kingdom Championship reign as well, man. There's so much potential Bron Breakker has, and he definitely knows this as well. Uh-oh, Bron Breakker looking to put away. Oh, this is what we saw last week. Bron Breakker, the military press slam. Will that be enough to put him away? 1, 2, 3, it is. Bron Breakker did that to Tyler Bate last week, and now he's doing it to Wes Lee. You can definitely say the mind games from Rusev tonight definitely helped out Bron Breakker. It's that Falcon Arrow, shooting star press, whatever you'd like to call it, very effective. But right here, that military press slam, and Bron Breakker with a massive win. It's Bron Breakker, Tyler Bate, United Kingdom Championship is coming up in just a couple weeks' time. Can Breakker become United Kingdom Champion once again? It is main event time here, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes Bron, or should I say Bryan Danielson, pardon me, member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Earlier on tonight, we saw Jon Moxley and MJF go to war. It was a hell of an opening contest between both of those men, but now Bryan Danielson gets an opportunity at the NXT champion, that being CM Punk, the best in the world, and we'll see how that's going to fare tonight. We know how good Bryan Danielson is, especially in the middle of that ring, and with him being a part of the Blackpool Combat Club, this man definitely wants to win some more world championships. He did that on Raw and SmackDown, mostly SmackDown actually, but you know, he has won all of his champions there on SmackDown. Had really good championship reigns as the WWE champion, or what he would like to say, the People's Championship, or the world's champion, I guess, with his eco-friendly belt that he had at that time. But you know, this is going to be a big-time opportunity for Bryan Danielson. His good friend, and you could say I guess you could say teammate, Jon Moxley, will be in action coming up in a couple weeks' time when he challenges for that NXT North American Championship. And obviously, Bryan Danielson would love to get on that card. I don't know if he'll be able to get on that card, but you know, I've seen plenty of opportunities possibly there. As here comes your NXT champion, CM Punk. Big time opportunity for Punk here to continue to show his rise. MJF defeated Jon Moxley earlier on tonight, and for MJF, he's could be the youngest world champion, like I said in that matchup. And imagine if MJF wins the world championship, how the next night on NXT is going to be faring for everybody. It's going to be absolutely crazy. And not the good type of crazy either. If you think CM Punk was as bad as your world champion right now, it's only going to get worse. MJF is so damn talented, and him being in the pinnacle, he doesn't need to be in the pinnacle with Big Show, Chris Jericho, and Brian Cage. Brian Cage happens to be being the backup, I guess you could say the bodyguard. And you got Chris Jericho and Big Show, which we haven't really seen too much of Chris Jericho and the Big Show as of late, ever since debuting here in NXT. Chris Jericho did defeat Wes Lee recently here on NXT. After Wes Lee called out Chris Jericho, Wes Lee wanted to face off with the best of the best, and he was able to, but he sure as heck probably regretted it. As now here we go, pinfall opportunity from Bryan Danielson. Ooh. Imagine if he was able to put him away that fast. CM Punk has faced the best of the best so far here in the series here on NXT ever since joining NXT, and he's run through all of them. The man that probably gave him the most, run for his money was Karrion Kross. He was able to survive Karrion Kross. And, oh, wait a minute. That's MJF's music, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit more of a mind games here. CM Punk can't believe what he's having to deal with. Oh, wait a minute. MJF from behind. MJF. No, but Punk sees him. And now, going to throw him down with a wrestling takedown. Just going to taunt MJF. Look at this. CM Punk not going to allow MJF to do anything to him. Bryan Danielson, he's telling him to cool down. It's MJF just getting his ass beat right there. Not his purpose of getting involved in this matchup, even with the mind games and everything. It still came to bite him in the behind. As now CM Punk has him on that rope. Uh-oh. Swinging neck breaker. Oh my goodness, dropping him on that neck area. We know how brutal neck injuries can be, especially with Bryan Danielson, concussions and neck injuries for sure. Oh, big, good old snake eyes there. And oh, anaconda vice. Anaconda vice. Will Bryan Danielson have to tap out? Nowhere to go. Will he tap out? Look at that, just wrenching in that bad boy, but Bryan surviving it just because CM Punk let it go. But a strong kick out at one by Bryan. Bryan knows how big this match is. Not just in the terms of this is the best in the world versus one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. Bryan definitely wants to get him. He wants to face off with the best of the best, but also get the opportunities down the line for maybe a world title shot, and that will definitely help his status out. Oh, big stomp to that left quadricep muscle there on the left knee area. Or I guess there's more of a quad muscle, but whatever it is, not going to be feeling too good for Bryan. As now CM Punk going to look to go high risk, telling him to get up to his feet. This is not going to be good for Bryan. Beautiful Hurricane Rana there from Punk. CM Punk, for the most part, dominating this matchup against Bryan Danielson. Oh, so close to winning this matchup as well. CM Punk telling the Seattle, Washington crowd, actually the hometown of Bryan Danielson, that he's going to put him away. Fisherman suplex. Going to let go of it, though. He could, honestly, easily could have went for that pinfall, but that's how CM Punk is, so dangerous. He's going to look to do some more damage and embarrass Bryan Danielson in his hometown here of Seattle, Washington. And he might just very well do it with the GTS. CM Punk maybe putting Bryan Danielson to sleep permanently. No! Bryan able to kick out somehow, some way. The crowd chant right now for Bryan to get back in this matchup. CM Punk looking really good against Bryan. Bryan does not know where he's at. CM Punk maybe looking to go high risk. Frog splash. Is that enough? Middle of that ring. 2, 3 it is. CM Punk dominated this match, man. He's been a very dominant NXT champion. And this MJF CM Punk matchup for the NXT World Championship is going to be an absolute banger after banger after banger. Look at this GTS. That wasn't the last blow. This frog splash halfway across the ring. CM Punk willing to do anything. High risk, high reward situation. And CM Punk does it to end NXT. We have run out of time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we will see you on SmackDown. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.